We have Sweeny Murti, beat writer for the New York Yankees for the Fan, WFAN in New York City. Sweeny, thanks for coming on the show.
No problem, guys. How you doing?
Very good. Thanks a lot. And, start things off, the Yankees, obviously a big win today against the Chicago White Sox, 12-3. Phil Hughes pitching great. Mark Teixeira, though, 4 for 5. And, I think I got to ask you, which story is more, Phil Hughes' success this season or Mark Teixeira finally busting out of April?
Well, I think you kind of figured that Mark Teixeira would eventually start hitting. So I would say the bigger surprise here, or more pleasant surprise probably, is Phil Hughes turning into the type of starting pitcher that the Yankees hoped he would. And the Yankee fans have kind of been waiting for. As bad as Mark Teixeira's April was, I don't think anybody thought he was going to hit 148 for the entire season. So he's starting to get hot, and that's probably a pretty good sign because the middle of the Yankee order has been very slow for a little while here.
Now, Curtis Granderson was just put on the disabled list, and they're expecting him to miss up about to a month. What kind of effect do you think that'll have in the Yankees lineup for the next month or so?
Well, they're going to have to put Brett Gardner into center field, and he's going to have to be an everyday player now. He was getting some occasional time, mostly every day, but some occasional days off and left. Gardner starts, so the unfortunate part here is that I don't know if you can expect him to keep hitting the way he's been over for the next month while Granderson's out. But they're going to need basically these other guys to step up. Once the 2, 3, and 4 hitters start hitting, you're not going to notice that much the drop off in offense with Curtis Granderson. Because frankly, he hadn't been hitting very well for the last couple of weeks. So if it's just going to be a month, I think you can weather that as long as Johnson and A-Rod start to hit again. And we've talked about Teixeira has gotten off pretty good these last 2 days.
And in the offseason, 2 of the big pickups for the Yankees, not up to par really. Granderson, obviously, as we just mentioned, out for a month. But how about Javier Vazquez? There's a lot of hype surrounding him. He hasn't been playing up to par. What are your thoughts on how he's performed?
Yeah, I'm a little dumbfounded. I really don't know what's wrong with Javier Vazquez. I really thought, like everybody else, that he was going to, that he didn't turn the corner last year in Atlanta. And I understand the difference between the American and National Leagues, especially the American League East. But he's not getting beaten right now because he's in a tougher division. He's getting beaten right now because he's just lost. And I don't know, what it'll take to find himself again. I don't think he's a weak-minded guy who's getting overwhelmed by pitching in New York. I don't think that was the type of pressure that he was living under lately. I just think for whatever reason he had a hard time trying to find his delivery and find his good fastball. It's really a mystery.
Yankees right now in second place behind the Tampa Bay Rays, and going into the month of May. The Yankees have, I believe, a pretty tough schedule. They're taking on Boston, who's been struggling a little bit, but then Detroit, Minnesota, Boston again, then Tampa, and then they're playing the red-hot Mets. But how do you feel that they're going to do in the month of May?
Well, I think they're bound to cool off a little bit. I mean, they had a very tough schedule in April and played it very well, 15-7 for the month. So I think they came through that extremely well. They've got a lot of home games here in May, and I'm sure that'll lead to a couple of walk-offs and pies in the face, and then you'll get a little bit of feeling back from 2009 as that happens. Obviously, a lot of home games here, so I think they're set up very nicely here. They have 4 of their 5 starting pitchers pitching extremely well. Some of them are bound to come back down a little bit. And that's really where the hot start is coming from, because you can't have your 2, 3, and 4 hitters slumping the way the Yankees have, and no matter who's picking up the slack, Jeter or Robinson, Cano, or Brett Gardner, you can't have this good a record when the middle of the order isn't hitting if the starting pitching isn't doing what it's doing, and they've been fantastic. So you'd like to see them keep it up, but I'll bet you at least 1 or 2 of those guys have a little bit of a dry spell coming up.
And Sweeny, finally, it's only a month into the season, but the Yankees obviously, one of the favorites to win the World Series again in 2010. Do you think that they're good?
We've got several months to figure that out. I think they're always going to be a favorite. Last year it was pretty clear after a while they were the favorite. They're a very good team right now, and despite the day-to-day problems that a lot of Yankee fans want to look at and point out with Vasquez, with Johnson, and anybody else, the folks who watch this team from around the league, from other teams around the league, know how good this team is, and they expect them to really be at the top of this division. Health will be a big factor. The Granderson injury definitely is a big one. If it's not going to be more than a month, then I think they can weather it. But everybody else has to stay healthy and produce too for that to continue for them.
Sweeny Murti, beat writer of the New York Yankees. Check out his blog on the Fan, WFAN.com. Sweeny, we certainly appreciate your time. We look forward to having you on in the future.
No problem, guys. Take care.
All right.